49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle was arrested at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, on suspicion of trying to shoot the airport up. Now, there's quite a bit to this story and a lot I need to say. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about 49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle of Cartersville, Georgia, about an hour or so north of Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, being arrested at Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta, Georgia, on suspicion of trying to shoot the airport up. Now, this could have been a very big tragedy because this airport is the busiest in the world, not just in Georgia, not just in the USA, but in the entire world. He didn't have a lot of firepower, but he had some firepower. And from what his family said, he was not really mentally well. They called the police out there in Cartersville to warn them about this, saying, hey, he's streaming online. He doesn't really sound right. You need to go down there and get him before he does something crazy. It hurts a lot of people, including himself. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the local news out there. CBS News Atlanta. Of course, I will link to the entire thing in the box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Live from Atlanta, this is CBS News Atlanta at 11.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jobina Fordson-Evans. We begin with the latest on the tragedy averted at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. This morning, police arrested a man accused of threatening to shoot up the South Terminal. He's been identified as 49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle of Cartersville. He's now booked into the Clayton County Detention Facility. This all started this morning in Cartersville. The man's family alerting police that Cagle was streaming live on social media, heading to the airport to, quote, shoot it up. Police say Cagle parked his truck outside of the airport's South Domestic Terminal. Inside his truck, police found an AR-15 assault rifle with 27 rounds of ammunition. Police say Cagle lives with mental health challenges, but didn't elaborate beyond that.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, that terminal right there, the South Terminal, I've been there a million times. A million times. This is like my home airport, so it's kind of hits close to home. This, again, could have been a very, very, very serious tragedy. The airport's always packed. It doesn't really matter. It could be morning, noon, night. It's going to be packed. So I'm glad the police in Cartersville and the local area, whether that's East Point, College Park, APD, whatever, the state police, I'm glad they were able to get there and get this situation resolved before it unfolded into tragedy.
Leaders say more than 20 people could have been killed today if they didn't get a heads up.
Our investigators were able to quickly determine what kind of vehicle he was in, get very recent pictures of that vehicle, and get all those over to the Atlanta Police Department in a timely manner, and ultimately get this, what could have been a crisis, averted. And it's because of the hard work, dedication of the excellent investigators we have, the patrol officers that initially took the report.
As we await Cagle's first appearance in court, we're now hearing from his family. Our Leandra Head has the latest from Cartersville.
I'm here outside of the Cartersville Police Headquarters, and this afternoon I spoke to Billy Joe Cagle's brother, Scott Nelson. Nelson tells me that his brother works at a hay farm right here in Cartersville. I spoke to Nelson over the phone, and he tells me Cagle was suffering from mental health challenges.
I know he takes some medication, and when he don't take it, he starts hallucinating and stuff. He's never hurt anybody.
So what does that sound like to y'all? If you take medication and when you don't take it, you start to see things, maybe you begin to hear things. Is that schizophrenia? I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose this, man. But what does that sound like to you? Let me know in the comments.
Nelson says it was Cagle's immediate family who alerted police to a social media post where he said he was headed to the airport to harm others.
I'm shocked that he went to the airport.
Cagle left his truck parked outside of the South Terminal, then scoped out the TSA security line. Take a look at this police body cam when police saw Cagle.
That is right.
Police spotted him in the airport around 9:40 in the morning and arrested him about 14 minutes later. Inside Cagle's truck, police discovered an AR-15 assault rifle with 27 rounds of ammunition.
That's not really much. That's just like, because your regular magazine holds 30. So that's like not a lot. But still, he could have done a lot of damage with that.
time, I do believe that Mr. Cagle was headed back to his truck to retrieve it, and I do believe he was likely to use that weapon inside the crowded terminal that he had just seen.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens thanking Cagle's family for alerting police.
See something, say something did work, and so we are standing here talking about a tragedy averted versus us standing here telling you about 27 plus lives that were lost or injured.
Now, I did reach out to Cagle's immediate family and have not heard back yet. Cagle is charged with criminal intent to commit aggravated assault, making terroristic threats, and having a firearm as a felon. Jobina, back to you.
So there's quite a bit there. Did you hear at the very end? He is a felon possessing a firearm. We're talking about gun laws because whenever there's a mass shooting or an attempted mass shooting or something like this that takes place, people want to say gun control, gun control, gun control. Okay, well, there are laws on the books that do what you want. They control guns. One of them is you cannot be a convicted felon with a firearm unless you got your rights back, which he didn't because he got charged for it. That's one thing. The second thing, obviously, shooting people, murder, stuff like that is already illegal. This guy was going to break the law regardless. The best way to defend yourself against guys like him is to be armed yourself. And in the case of an airport, you got to have tight security. And please believe the security of Hartsfield-Jackson is pretty tight. It's pretty tight. You think it's not a lot of cops in there. You think it's not, they're everywhere. They can see you. They got dogs everywhere. They kind of know what's going on. And I think even if he did get the gun inside of the terminal, he would have been put down pretty quick. A couple shots, maybe he would have been on the ground. Now, something else I got to say, elephant in the room. Some want to say that this guy is a MAGA. He's a Trump supporter. And the reason why they are trying to point that out is because many of us say a lot of the mass shootings are being done by transgender people or those who have transgender, some kind of connection to transgenderism. The guy who shot Charlie lived with his transgender boyfriend, a man who identified as a woman. And we saw the pictures, they look kind of like the same person. But anyway, we say that is a core component of these mass shootings. Now, some are going to say, well, look, this guy is a Trumper. This guy is a MAGA, not a transgender. So what do you say now? See, look, it's not even about it's not even about your political identity. It's about your mental state. The reason why we keep talking about the transgender link is because, number one, it's a real thing. But number two, it points to a mental problem. All of these mass shootings, what they have in common are those with mental issues. That is the bottom line, whether they be on some kind of drug to make them think a certain way, whether they have schizophrenia, whether they think they're a woman when they're really a man. These are forms of mental illness. It's not a comparison to say transgender versus MAGA. Like that's like saying left versus right. It's not like that. It's about somebody who has mental problems. And obviously, this guy had mental problems. He takes medicine for it. And when he doesn't take it, he starts to hallucinate. I think that is the same thing as someone who thinks they are a woman when they're a man. So it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter if you're a MAGA or a Biden or whatever you want to call it. It all kind of goes back to the mental health aspect of this. So if you want to stop a lot of these mass shootings, if you want to really put a dent in it, you need to deal with the mental health crisis in this country. And what you don't do is buy into someone's delusion. If somebody's seeing things that aren't there, if they're hearing things that aren't there, if they think they are something that they're not, these are all forms of mental illness and they should be treated as such rather than just being kind of passed along. It's not really a big deal or whatever. And you know what? As I close, I want to say this. Billy Joe Cagle's family knew he had mental problems. So when he was online talking like that, they knew, okay, we having an episode. Let's go get the police and get them to stop this before he spirals out of control during his mental health break. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion on this whole situation? Billy Joe Cagle, 49 years old, was stopped at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport before it was a tragedy. Do you think that he is a MAGA? Do you think that he is a Trump supporter? Do you think that really matters? Or do you think it matters more that he had mental health problems, well documented, on medication? His own brother talked to the news out there and said that he has problems, he sees things. Is that the bigger issue, or the whole MAGA alleged connection? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Clearly, there's mental health challenges with these people who go out and do stuff like that. That is the bottom line. That is the common denominator. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Canadian stripe, a leftist, a rightist. You're not political. You don't watch sports. You don't watch TV. The mental issue is the problem. And we got to zero in on that. Focus on that. Right? And talk gun control. What's gun control going to do for someone who doesn't even know what reality is? How are you going to enact gun control on that person? You need to get to the mental issue, solve that before anything else is even the question. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.